For anyone who doesn't know, the human mortal Jessica was Bible Belt, 17 years old, a teenager, very, very good girl, goody two-shoes, and then you were made into a vampire.
Parents were very strict.
There were some issues there.
Yeah, a lot of issues there.
And then you became this sort of free-for-all vampire.
Wild child vampire who was now stuck eternally at 17, so kind of like never-ending hormonal raging going on. But yeah, it's been a really fun transition. I feel like each year Jessica finds another piece of herself, because I think part of what came out of that lifestyle is that she didn't know who she was. Her parents defined her, then Bill defined her, and then Hoyt, her first love, defined her. And I really enjoyed last season and this season, Jessica starting to find a little bit of who she is all on her own. She's single, she's been separated a bit from her maker, and I think that's been the most interesting transition for me. Jessica coming into her own.
The show is so sexualized, and Jessica was one of the few characters that really was not sexualized in the beginning and had to go through that transition. Now that you are Little Miss Vixen, are those scenes, how do you shoot a sex scene when your character not only wants to have sex with the person, but you also want to eat them?
Well, actually, I would like to say one thing to remember about this. Jessica's only had 2 partners. I mean, that's we forget about it because it is such a sexy show, but I actually still think of Jessica as being quite sexually naive in some ways. She's still very innocent and young, and I think she's got the hormones and she's excited about it and she wants to experiment. But again, I don't know that she's really found who she is sexually and what she wants. So I think coming across those scenes, I always look at them as a really interesting acting exercise to say, who is she now to herself in her own body?
You mentioned the hormones. Jessica is eternally 17 years old and kind of eternally a virgin, which was a hysterical part of one of the episodes. How did you convince casting directors that you could play a 17-year-old forever and ever and ever?
Well, I was a lot younger when I got the role, so I was a little closer to it then. But I think when we're 17, what really defines us is this curiosity, this devil-may-care feeling of risk, that you want to just try everything and discover things. And for me, that's really what defines her. She is sort of irrepressible. She just tries things and goes for things. And even if she gets smacked down, she picks herself up and starts again.